Hello. Today you'll be listening to episode 1 of the podcast. We haven't quite decided on a name yet, but I'm sure it'll come around. I'll be your host, Pat, and Leon will be your co-host. You'll get to know us in just a minute, but as an overview, today we'll be talking about our origin story, quite a bit about Call of Duty, some competitive gaming, streaming services, which would also include the upcoming game streaming services. If you want to skip around, the timestamps should be in the description. Without further ado, I am Pat, and this is Leon. This
What's up,
is
guys? I'm Leo. It's Leo now, Pat. It's
Leo.
I think
Okay.
it's been long enough.
Okay. Leo. I'm just horrible with names, you know that. It's not even you, it's just everyone. Okay.
No, I get it. You know,
Like
Leon.
once I learn a person's name as one way, it's hard for me to change it. So like there's this guy I know on Xbox, a friend of a friend. His gamer tag is Envy, or it was Envy, should I say. And he changed his gamer tag, and I met him in real life. Yet to me, his name is still Envy. And he's just like, I don't get it. Why do you still call me Envy? No one calls me Envy. This is his gamer tag from like a year or two ago, and it's just once my brain locks down a name to a person, it's hard to change. So that being said,
Yeah, you were probably when you came down to Florida, you were probably the only person that called me Leon ever. And like my girlfriend was so thrown off. And that's because back in PlayStation 3 days, my original gamer tag or PSN was Leon950510.
that's what it was. Yep. That's also where we met. Uh,
Yeah,
so I mean backstory.
that's
So I back in high school, little money, didn't have any income, living with the family, obviously. Um, and I gathered some money, or maybe it was like a hey, what do you want for Christmas type deal? I don't know what it was. Now everyone I played with in my neighborhood had an Xbox, but in my head I'm like I have no income, so Xbox Live costs $5 a month that I don't got. So it was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the smart thing. I'm gonna get a PS3. Back then it was free. Now it costs money, but back then it was free. And I hopped on my PS3 around Christmas. Black Ops 1 days, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. And I didn't even have a mic yet. I didn't have a mic yet. And I hopped on Call of Duty, which is the game I had been playing over my friends' houses forever on Xbox. Hopped on my PS3 and started my grind of Call of Duty.
wow, wow. You know, my story is very similar, and in the sense that I also thought that I couldn't afford $5, $6 a month to play on Xbox Live. I knew that everybody had it, but once I found out that you can play online on the PS3 for free, that was it. Especially
Yeah,
for like, because it was a hard sell to tell my parents, hey, can you pay for me to play online, for me to play video games?
right.
That was a tough sell back then.
And it's just like, if I am able to gather like $5 a month, that's gonna go to new games, not for the ability to play them online when there's another option out there for free. And like I don't regret the choice at all. I mean, that's how I met
Me neither.
you.
Me
Um,
neither. Yeah.
so a few months in, came across a group of people playing in the lobby. Didn't have a mic. I don't know if I'm pretty sure were you already there in the group, or I think maybe we came around the same time. That part's a
I
little hazy for me, but I know I didn't have a mic.
I think that what started happening was that we like I know that there was a core group of like men, or these core group of guys that I met
Man.
up with while while I was just playing back in the days when TDM was actually fun to play. Um, 'Cause
Team
fuck,
deathmatch on Call of Duty. Yep.
yes, yes. Um, and then I mean, I was a good player by then, and by good I mean, I could hold a good KD during a match, and I could,
Yeah.
right,
Like
so
you can
like,
go in there when you play by yourself and you want to play I don't know. Back then it was just TDM. Like there
yeah,
was free for all, but even though I was a solo player, like you play online to play with friends. Even if you don't have them yet, it's you can make friends by playing online if you're playing
yeah,
in a team match. So like
yeah.
yeah, I found a group a group of men if you want to go by what Leo says. Um
Well, well,
and um like we started playing, and I think the fact that I didn't have a mic kind of got me into the group because all I was a number at that point, and some messages like, "Hey, can you pick me up? Like, can we play together?"
oh my
And
God, dude. Mm.
um, we just started playing, and then like, of course, from that point on, it's like I have a group of friends online now that I'm playing with, and we all play Call of Duty together, and it's fun. I need to get a mic. Like that was the next step. It was like I need to be able to talk. Did you have a mic? I don't like again. My
I
memory is so poor.
no, again, same thing. I didn't have a mic. I so desperately wanted to. Actually, at first, I was using a Bluetooth headset, like the old, those Motorola
Oh,
Bluetooth
dude,
headsets to
yeah. I no. You know what?
chat.
Yep. Not even that. Okay, so now you just remind me what my first headset was. So I went into GameStop because everyone went into GameStop back then, and you know what I got? I got the PlayStation Bluetooth headset, and you know what that thing was? It was exactly like you said, like the Motorola Bluetooths, and they like it just hooked onto your ear, and it was just a mic, and you can hear game chat, and you pump that audio through TV for the game,
Yeah,
and all you
yeah,
hear is the people talking in your ear, and
yeah,
that's when
yeah.
like everything kicked off. I started talking to you, and I started talking to Mike's aim name and Blanco and who else was in
Oh,
it?
uh, Alexis, Alexis,
Alexis, Alexis
which,
610 or something like that. I
yeah,
think it was.
yeah,
He didn't have a mic. I know that
yeah.
much.
The
But
entire
he
time,
was good.
the, the
Oh, he was
entire
good at
time.
Call of Duty. Like
Yeah,
he would hold. We would all be doing bad. He'd hold the whole team down. I mean, no, we would hold the team down too. But he. There's something abnormal about how good he was at the game. Like from my memory, at least.
yeah. No, me too. I would see him play, and he was very strategic. I mean, my memories are so obscure.
Yeah,
I mean, this was 8, 9 years ago.
9 years ago, dude. So now we joined this group. We're playing online. It's a clan. That's what it is. Now, Leon, what was the name of this clan again?
We were called the sluts.
Where are we now? Okay.
Yeah, we were
So,
called the sluts. That was a great name, and
yeah,
I thought it was so clever because I was just like,
yeah,
I
we're,
played
we're,
a
we're
Call of Duty clan called the sluts.
yeah, exactly. And not even that, you can't put that as your clan tag in Call of Duty. So we had to get real creative. Like it was like $1UT or something like that, if I can remember correctly. Like
Yeah,
it that was like we had to make a workaround. It was good times. I
man,
just
we
remember.
would. I remember having like every night it was consistent. If you get on at a certain time, it was consistent like 6 player
Yeah,
parties.
oh my God. The problem was we had too many people. Like, there's always that guy who's like, I'll play later, or I'll just go play Dom or whatever. Like, I don't feel like, oh, and so also, yeah, you described it earlier and you said, man, that's actually correct. That's a good way to describe it because it was that dynamic. So, personally, I don't think we knew how old Alexis was at the time for a while,
Yeah,
but I feel like we kind of knew he was somewhere around our age. Um, and it was me, you, and then everyone else. I'm talking these dudes are like 30 or like I don't know,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like that was the dynamic. So we weren't clan leads or anything like that. We were just the slightly better. We were the young stock with the good accuracy. That's what we were.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we were the ones who won the games, and we just kind of, it was like everyone had their part. Like
Yeah.
we had
And
the shit
y-
talkers, we had
yeah,
the like more shit talkers, and then we
the
had
ones,
us.
but then
Like
like they were shit talkers, but like they knew how to shit talk.
yeah.
And pardon my language, but like they knew how to
Oh,
like hold it down.
I just remembered Mike's aim name was his name, and he basically was the leader. But you know what he had? He had a soundboard piped into his headset. Remember that? He
Oh
used to
yeah.
play audio clips from like TV shows and everything. It's
Your name is Toby. I want to hear you say it.
do you remember that?
Oh.
Like, do you remember that? Dude, yeah, I'm I'm probably gonna get schooled by someone in the comments or whatever. I don't even know what that movie is, but
Me neither.
like the fact, like when you heard that go off, and we just burst out laughing. He, there
I
was
mean,
Family Guy references. He played through the soundboard. Dude,
yeah.
like
I
that
miss
was.
that.
Oh my god.
I
I
miss that environment. That was fun. You
oh
know,
for sure, dude.
that
I,
was so much
but
fun.
like, I mean, it was a good, very very good time. Like Black Ops One. Everyone will disagree with me, but Black Ops One dual HS10s. I would go off with those. Like I
Oh,
would run around for akimbo, dual, whatever it was called back then. I had two automatic shotguns. The kick was great. Like by the time I was empty a clip, I'm looking up in the sky. Like that's how bad the kick was. But you would destroy people. And then there was the MP5 with the extended mag. I know
MP11,
the
right?
FAMAS was like the go-to gun, but I never really fell in love with that gun. But I know it was good, and even using it, I knew it was good. And then there was the Commando with the suppressor. That was like the go-to suppressor gun, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, just it was yeah, good times.
It's funny because like in Black Ops is where I mean even though we played together a lot, we kind of developed di different playing strategies. Like you were really into doing the obscure thing, the
Oh, dude,
challenges.
I still to this day I love like well yeah challenges. Like I feel like I'm a completionist. I say that, but like every game I pick up, I never finish. But like just that grind, like the grind of challenges and getting to the end. I we'll get to it later for sure. But like the newest Call of Duty, like dude, I just hit max rank. I don't want know anyone else in my friends list right now on max rank, and that may just be because like the burnout, the Call of Duty burnout. Like this game's we started playing Black Ops 1 9 years ago, right? Was that
Yeah.
is it 9 years? Now, even before that, there was World at War, Modern Warfare, well, Modern Warfare 2, World at War, and Modern Warfare 1. I played all those too. I just didn't have my own console at that point.
Yep.
So like
Yep.
that's 12 years of Call of Duty. Now, there's people out there who are like, "Oh, Call of Duty is just a shooter." Like the community's so toxic, and there's truth in what you're saying. I will not deny that like there's toxic people in the community and all that, but like you got to have both sides of the coin. There's a lot of toxicity, but like there's also great friendships and everything that are built out of it. Like
Oh yeah.
I mean,
And
I
that is just that overpowers the toxicity. I mean, Call of Duty today is bigger
for
and
sure.
better than it
Oh,
was 9 years ago, for sure.
I agree. Unfortunately, like people have jobs. The Call of Duty burnout. Oh, so you know what? I'm actually scared. You know what really ended it, honestly? Because the sluts, the clan we were in, was great. I don't think it died down completely, but it was like starting to die down a few Call of Duties later. Like Black Ops 1 was definitely the heyday. What was after Black Ops 1? That was Modern Warfare 3, right?
Yes.
Yep, yep. So I feel like we were still somewhat prominent in that game too. But then, of course, you're talking about 30, 35-year-old men, maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger, who have jobs, who have a full-time career and all this other stuff, and have lives and kids and everything, and wives. I don't know if it said lives or wives, but both. not all of them can get the new Call of Duty. So like right there alone, like I feel like we lost a few people with the switch over to the new game, Modern Warfare 3. On top of that, what I mean, when did you switch to Xbox? I knew that happened somewhere, but like
Huh.
am I
Oh
jumping
yeah.
the gun right now?
Well, well, almost, like just to bring it back a little bit,
Okay.
when you were talking about you being a completionist, so you really focused on doing the obscure thing, and I started focusing on competitive Call of Duty. I started playing GB's game battles and
Yep.
looking into Major League Gaming, and I would scrimmage all. I mean, I think that for the first half of the year for Black Ops 1 game, I played regular, and then the second half, I really tried to grind competitive Call of Duty. And I
Hmm.
think that eventually I made, not to bring it back to what we were just talking, I switched to Xbox
You made the jump.
because of competitive Call of Duty, because I knew that Call of Duty was played competitively
And this
on
was Modern Warfare
Xbox.
3 days? Or
Yeah.
was that okay? That's what I thought. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was right on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I'm still sitting in the situation where like, dude, where did you get this money for a 360? How you just gonna drop me like that? Like I'm feeling betrayed, Leon. Like you're just got and you're like, no, just come over to 360. I'm like, dude, I don't want to pay for Xbox Live Gold. Like and like everyone's on PS3. Like, but here's the thing: you're on um, Xbox 360. I was on PS3, but like I said before I had a console, all of my friends were on 360 too. So it was just by chance that we both ended up on PS3. But
Yeah.
so like the fact that you made the jump kind of like pushed me to make the jump too, because it's just like I feel like it was a little while though, right? Like I don't feel like Modern Warfare 3. You know what? There's an easy way to check. Do I have any challenge achievements?
Huh.
So let's see. I'm gonna check my achievements here. Do I have any achievements from Modern Warfare 3? Because if I do, that means I made the jump. But I feel like I definitely took some time from when you hopped. Like there was definitely a gap. There was a gap where we basically lost touch a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we lost. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have any achievements for Modern Warfare 3. So what I believe happened was after Modern Warfare 3 was Black Ops 2. That's what it was. Yep. Black Ops 2, I bought, it's all coming back now. I bought Black Ops 2 for PS3. And I want to say 2 to 3 months in, I want to say I was like Prestige 8. And back then there was like 10 Prestiges, if I'm not mistaken. Prestige 7 or 8. And for some reason, like, I was just like, you know what? All my friends are on Xbox 360. Leon's on 360. Sorry, Leo. See, I never learned.
No, that's okay. I mean, we're talking about 2012 here.
Okay. So I made the jump, and when I say I made the jump, I always said the DLC. So I bought. Think about this. I bought Black Ops 2 for $60. I bought the season pass for what I believe was probably $50. That's 110 right there. Then I bought Black Ops 2 again along with the 360 and the season pass to make the switch. So that year alone, I probably invested like at least $500 into being able to play Call of Duty on the 360 because I already invested into the PS3.
Okay, how did you get this money?
To be honest, I have no idea. I don't remember. I was still in school, so I didn't have a job. Maybe it was like beg my mom for like a gift type deal. Like maybe my birthday came around. I'm pretty sure it was a used. Oh no, you know what I think it was? No,
What?
that was my brother, or maybe it was. I know one of us in the family got the Xbox 360 Arcade Edition, and now if you remember right, the Arcade Edition only had like 5 gigs of storage, no internal hard drive. It was all like, you know how like the 360 had that like you add a drive bay where you add your storage. Well, it also had like its internal storage, which was kind of different. it's hard to explain. Like nowadays, we just plug in external drives, but on the 360, you could slide in an extra hard drive. Do you remember that? Like on the
Yeah.
original 360, you had the cap, like you could drop the cap on, and then on the arcade edition, the slim model, you could like pop the lid open and slide a drive in. Well, I think I got like either a used or like a new 360 for probably a holiday, like Christmas or something like that, or my birthday.
I can't
Uh,
believe Microsoft would get away with this kind of like thing,
what do you
selling
mean?
a console with 5 GB in it. That's just
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
trying to do that today.
Well, there's the thing. So storage is always expand. Like the cost of storage is one of the fastest dropping prices, which is exciting for me because I store a lot of movies on my computer. I like to have. Okay, so I don't want to get too far off topic, but I like I made the switch to digital, and we'll get into that later. But like, I don't really buy physical copies anymore. I'll buy them for like the collector stuff, but like, just digital's better for, in my opinion. I know there's those people who want the physical copy, but like with the whole Xbox Home System thing, like if I buy a digital copy, that means me and my brother can play the same game for one cost. You know, me and my brother only need one Xbox Live Gold, and on and on and on. Like the more digital stuff you do, the more you could share it, and I'm sure that's intended. Like it, the cost savings and not having to manufacture the pamphlets and the cases and the disc and all that stuff is probably saving them a lot of money.
But you
Um,
also do this with movies?
yeah, I download movies. There and I store them on my computer, and they so like a movie takes up about maybe like it depends what. See, that's another thing. Like, are you talking 1080p, 720p? Hopefully not 720p anymore. 4K, like depending on that and the audio codec, basically like is it surround sound and stuff like that. Um, you can go anywhere from like half a gig to like 4 gigs pretty easily. Sometimes up to 10 gigs. Now, if you're talking 4K, you can like shoot up to like the 15 gig area sometimes. So that eats up space if you want to save your movies. Not even movies. You know what really eats up the space? TV shows. I have every episode. I have every single episode of Doctor Who on my computer. Every single one.
Doctor Who.
Oh, dude, great show.
I
Fantastic show.
I believe you. I just that there's so many. There's just so many good shows nowadays
I know. I
that
know.
like you just cannot watch them all. Like,
You can't.
yeah,
Okay,
there's
here you
too
go.
much.
So Doctor Who started. I wish I knew the year, but this series has been going on for years. So what that means is some of the earlier seasons weren't HD. They were just 720p or whatever. Like they were just like the best qualities you can get aren't always 1080p. So what that means is it's not going to take up as much space as some of these newer TV shows, but it's taking up 40 gigs on my computer at the moment. And then that's 100
Just just the Doctor
files
Who.
of
Okay.
just the Doctor Who.
Now, why do you
Why
store
do I?
all these movies? Is it because you like having like a copy? And that way you don't rely on the internet or something?
So I think what it is there's that. There's like it's hard to find these things online in a consistent place. Like Doctor Who, you could probably watch on BBC, but it was it always on BBC. Sometimes you can get them a little sooner if you go through the right methods. I don't want to go too deep into all that, but like, and then there's the ability. I can stream that on BBC, I believe, right? But can I stream that to any device in my house? Like I can easily do it on my computer. I could probably do it on my phone. But what about a TV? You know? So like having them all on my actual hard drive, I actually have a piece of software called Plex, and it's basically like a home media server, and it allows me to stream the content across all the devices in my house. And it basically imagine,
That's nice.
yeah, no, imagine, yeah, you had Comcast, Verizon, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
it's like
on
the
demand.
only thing you can
Imagine on
have.
demand. Yeah, basically. But imagine on demand. You know how you have your catalog, you can just click OK Play, but you have to pay money? Imagine that, but it's already on your computer. So you click OK Play on any device in your house, and you have the bio there, you have everything there, and you just click play and it works. We've gotten way off topic, but that's why I download copies of TV shows and movies to my computer. But that's also why it eats up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Going backtracking to the storage thing, I was in Best Buy the other day. 5 terabyte hard drive was for $106. 5 terabytes for $106.
That's $20 per terabyte.
That's ridiculous. Like,
$21.20. That is
dude,
ridiculous.
it's amazing, and I love it. But that being
It's so
said, well,
much cheaper than like iCloud.
you think? See, I haven't looked into those, and I use
Well,
Google.
no. Well, I guess I pay $1 for 50 gigabyte on the cloud. Now, I think if you pay like $5 a terabyte, I'm not sure, but
Yeah, that's
you
way
know,
more expensive when you start looking down the road, right? Like when you start
of
looking like
course,
2, 3 years down the road, and you've been paying that $5. Oh, dude, don't get me started on subscriptions. They're the I have too many subscriptions, but like like that's like everything's going to the subscription model nowadays. I want to wrap up the whole storage topic, and then we can move on to like subscriptions and like streaming services. I want to talk about that. I download everything now. I have a hard drive hooked up to the back of my Xbox. I believe it's like 2 terabytes, and back then I got it for like $60, $70 maybe. But I download all my games. I try to keep all my games downloaded because it's nice to have digital, but if you can't fit it, then you kind of lose the benefit of having digital. Because if you have to go and download something every time you go to play something, it's not as convenient as the disc at that point.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
That being
And you
said,
and like a single disc costs $60.
yeah.
A
Well,
5 terabyte.
they don't even put the full games on the disc anymore though. Even if you go out and buy a disc, you come home, pop that disc in, and it's like, go ahead, download the full game. I might as well buy digital anyway. Like if you're gonna make me download the full game, okay. So I've always enjoyed Call of Duty. We've just talked about that, right? Last year for Black Ops 3, is it I lose track. There's been so many Call of Duties. Was it Black Ops
Last
4, right?
year, no, it
Black Ops
was
4.
last year was yeah, Black Ops
Black
4.
Black Ops 4. Okay. So what I did, I heard that GameStop was giving out Black Ops 4 3 hours early. So of course I want to be the first one in there, right? So what I did is I went to GameStop and got a physical copy and was able to download the game before anyone on the East Coast where I live was able to play it digitally because they had to download the game, and then Xbox is like, hey, you downloaded a digital copy, you can't play until 12 o'clock because the game's not released yet. So I was able to play before everyone because my download speed outpaced the availability of the other editions.
And you were just playing up against other people that also got the game early.
Yeah, well, it's a worldwide release, right? So like, I was playing against other countries, and like, sure, there were people who also went to GameStop on the East Coast and got it 3 hours early. And then once one person breaks street date, I'm sure all the other places were releasing it at 9 o'clock. So I'm sure there's a few people. Eventually, I returned that game and bought it digitally for like, I mean, I got like maybe $40 for it and spent the extra 20 to get it digitally, and that's because I can't scratch up a digital copy. I kept my Steelbook Series case. I kept all the free stuff I got with the edition I got, and then I got a few bonus things by buying it digitally about half a year later, and I bought it on sale. So like, I didn't really out too much money to flip from physical to digital, and then again going back to the your friend gets a copy when you buy digitally. My brother got to play Call of Duty. But did you have anything else you wanted to talk about Call of Duty wise?
Well, so competitive Call of Duty.
Okay. So yeah, you've always been into the competitive part. That's why you switched to 360, like you were saying earlier.
Yes. Yes.
We lost touch for. I think we skipped over this a little bit, but we lost touch. We definitely did. Like you got really into competitive on Xbox,
Like
and that
very
was
into
not my
competitive.
that was very into competitive, which did the exact opposite for me because I was like, wow, you're stressing out about every game, dude, and you're happy when you win. And I'm sure those highs are really high, but those lows are probably also really low. And it kind of pushed me away from the competitive. Like I knew what was going on. Like everyone knows optic like and all that stuff, like I knew that much. And I tried a little GBs with you, right? I think we played a few, but in the end I decided that hey, this is something that I want to enjoy, and this competitive stuff is just stressing me out. So we kind of grew apart in that aspect.
Yeah,
So go ahead.
I
So
never really got.
well no, you joined CNK, right? You joined. He betrayed our original clan guys. He left. Well, I mean we weren't really part of the clan anymore, but he joined CNK, right? Is that what it was called?
CNK. I never really understood what it stood for, and yet it's still in my gamer. Yeah, it was this organization that this guy.
No, they had a Twitter. They had their stuff together. They had a squad. Like they had like they were, in my opinion, from what I could see from the outside, they were following in the steps of what the big teams are doing. Like they had their branding, they had their, like I said, their Twitter. Every team had a Twitter. It still does, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and you guys had your call outs, and like you guys would communicate with the teams you're facing against, and it was cool. It wasn't my scene. We grew apart, and now Call of Duty has done what it did in the beginning, and it's brought us back together. Um, I mean, there was always other stuff mixed in. We did other things, but we kind of reconnected now, right? And
Well, yeah, and just to bring it all together with Call of Duty, now this game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare,
mhm.
is not only does it have plenty of challenges, it's the best Call of Duty that has yet to be released, and it's gonna have the best competitive Call of Duty esports league yet. I'm excited, and
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure you're excited.
yeah, no, I was looking into that, and so I did see. Let me see here. So there's, from what I understand, there's 12 Call of Duty League teams. All of I see a few names I recognize. So there's the Atlanta FaZe, right?
Yeah, yeah,
There,
def.
there's the Optic Gaming, Los Angeles.
That's a shell. That's a shell now, but yeah, sure. Optic
Yeah.
Gaming.
Okay. I'm sure you're gonna want to talk about that a little bit more in a second.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of other things in here. I'm gonna go through like Toronto Ultra, Seattle Surge, Paris Legion, New York Subliners. I really like that name. Minnesota Roikers, is that how you said it? I'm not sure. Los Angeles Gorillas, London Royal Ravens, Empire Dallas, Florida Mutineers, and then the team that I'm pretty sure you want to talk about, the Chicago Huntsmen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And this is just um this is very exciting to me because all of this is new information. When Pat and I decided to finally do this podcast, I was like, there's a topic that I've always been hovering around, but I've never gotten into. And I've just got a glimpse of the esports environment today, and there's so much stuff, right? So, Chicago Huntsmen, for those of you that are listening and that also follow Call of Duty competitive back in the days, and let's take it back to Optic Gaming when they were owned and operated by Hector, Optic Hex. And basically, this guy created Optic Gaming and brought brand up to a point where he decided to sell it. And so he sold Optic Gaming and then created a company called Energy Gaming, and that company owns Chicago Huntsman. And I think it's interesting that like even though it's a different company, a different name, it still
It's
feels
that
like it's
it's that
Optic
original
Gaming.
owner, right? Like
Yeah.
it's so I've already explained, like I wasn't always into competitive. But the thing I like about this year is that they're really making it look like so I guess we should kind of take a step back, right? Competitive gaming in general is just like when you hear gaming, like
blowing up.
if you're not a gamer and you hear gaming, you're just like, oh, some kids playing games, right? But I'm sure even if you're not in the gaming, you've heard about like what's his name with
Fortnite,
Fortnite? Fortnite, but what's his name?
Ninja.
Ninja. He's making millions. These teams actually like it's all been building up, right? Like they're like what Leon was trying to do and did do a little of like there's all these ragtag teams, not to call you a ragtag team, but like it's these people meeting up and becoming teams and fighting for what they want. And it was kind of like underground in a way. Like Optic was the top, and they were like the thing. And if you
It
voted
was
for a
so
team,
underground. Yeah.
yeah. But if you voted for a team, you knew of Optic, and you probably knew of Phase too. Like between the two of those, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know any other names. But so the thing, like I said, the thing I like about this year is they're going like so. ESPN is. Did you know ESPN shows competitive gaming on their cable channels now? Like I'm pretty sure they have a dedicated channel for competitive. They play Dota. I haven't followed the game like that, but it's like Leon said, it's blowing up. Like people are actually watching this stuff and intrigued, and then at the same time, you got it was one of those things where like go to your grandparents and tell them to sign up for Facebook. Not many of them are going to do it, right? But in 20 years, all of the grandparents are going to know what Facebook is because it was their generation. So like all these ragtag teams have grown into like adults now, right? And
Yeah.
they all have the history behind them. And now there's the ESPN contracts and there's these all these teams that I love that it's
That,
becoming like a sports thing. Like
yeah.
it's like in my head this is like the NBA of gaming or the NFL of gaming. So
Yeah.
like that's what intrigues me is that they're like how professionally done these teams look. Like
And
they're like
and the best part is that like what this creates is accessibility, because this attracts more people to watch competitive Call of Duty. I
yeah,
mean, I mean, ho- millions and millions of people play Call of Duty worldwide. How many
yep,
of those people are gonna be tuning in into, and I could be maybe talking about into the hundreds of millions of Call of Duty players. Think about how many people are going to tune in if they're able to execute well on this league.
yeah,
Now, I'm excited because there's a lot of money going into this, and like there's this was an underground movement with a huge following, and that following has only been growing since its underground days. And a lot of these teams have players that have been playing Call of Duty for 10 plus years that are still going and that have a huge following. And for example, Chicago Huntsman, it has Scumper. He used to be Optic Scumpy, and then there's Formal. He used to be Optic Formal. Two heavyweights. Aren't how does that? I know it's like Chicago Huntsman is a new thing. I never heard of that team name before, but how does that not bring excitement? I mean,
yeah.
I'm
No, I'm
excited.
excited. Yeah, no, I
I'm
am too.
excited.
Now, I like I said, the competitive like so I've never really followed sports crazy tight. Like I vote for the home team, right? Like but I still watch the Super Bowl, right? So like imagine someone like me who but isn't in the gaming, right? Like I don't follow football like that. I watch a game here or there, but I will watch that Super Bowl, right? So imagine how many people, if this takes off, who don't even watch gaming, are gonna be like, "Oh wait, this is the World Championship of Call of Duty, and this is playing on ESPN right now." Like you know what I'm saying? Like now I can't confirm that it's gonna
Absolutely.
play on. I can't confirm it's gonna play on ESPN, but if it does, I wouldn't be surprised. Um,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
this
no,
game, I mean, doesn't call. I think here, let me pull something up. I think Call of Duty is breaking records, right?
yeah, every year. So speaking of how much it's been blowing up, you showed me our article earlier, and this says here Call of Duty League players will have a minimum salary of $50,000, along with other benefits.
It's crazy that if I instead of me going to college, I would have just stayed home and played Call of Duty for 12 hours a day for 2 years. It's crazy that I could have probably gotten a better job than a college graduate could get today.
I wouldn't say, but here's okay. You say that, but that's equivalent to like if I would have just kept playing football, I would be in the NFL right now. You know, like
Okay,
there
no.
is how the roster of these teams are like what 5 players, 6 players? Is it? I would. Is it 5? I think it's 5.
I think it's up to 10 players
Okay,
now.
up to 10 players. So 10 times 1, 2, 12. So 120 people across the world are getting paid this for this season. So it's not a large roster. You know, like it's still hitting a lottery to become one of these players. And but I don't want to
True.
dismiss these players either because, like you said, 12 hours a day playing a game isn't just gaming. That's a job at that point. You know, like I'm sure there I'm sure there's at least one person on each of these teams, if not more, who dreads waking up and playing the game nonstop for that having to. Like of course they probably enjoy the game, right? But like oh dude, I just don't want to play today, right? No, that's not a choice at that point. This is your job. You have to play to keep your accuracy on point to be that winning team of the year, right? So like I don't want anyone to like just dismiss like, oh hey, these are just kids playing games. How old are these players? I don't know that. Like I know they've been playing for a while, so I would assume they're at least in their mid
20,
20s, right?
mid 20s, yeah.
Like, what's the oldest player that you know of, or do you just not know?
I don't know.
Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if there were people in their 30s playing though. Like just out of the 120 people, if there's an older player somewhere in there. And
I mean,
speaking of which, we
think
have the
about it, Pat.
rosters. We have the
This
rosters
is,
for all the teams but one, right? The Chicago Huntsmen. Isn't that what you said? Or do we have all the rosters now?
we don't have all the rosters. I know that what team we're missing is Florida Mutineers, which is
Oh, okay.
ironic.
That was the
Uh,
team. Got it. You said that's ironic?
Yeah, because like I'm really into esports, and there's a Florida team, but they don't have a roster yet, which
Oh yeah.
really
So I mean, I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but so Leon's from Florida and I'm from Maryland. So if it wasn't for being a bunch of broke teens who both got PS3s and Black Ops 1 at the same time, we would have never known each other nor met up this year, right?
right.
So,
And you know what's weird, Pat, is that like we ended up playing together only by like process of elimination because people started to drop out, and then it was only you that was always online.
yep.
So then you and I just kept playing, and then I think we played a lot of Search and Destroy at first.
My favorite game mode back in the
Yeah.
day. Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
Speak like we were talking about competitive, right? But like in my head I'm like, dude, if people could just understand the amount of thought process that goes through a round of search and destroy. Leon, just take a step back, right? Bomb was just planted. There's 2 guys up, and you're halfway across the map. Like, what are you doing in that situation? Like, there's so many. Like, yeah, you gotta listen. You gotta. Okay, I heard someone walk across metal. Okay, there's train tracks 30 yards this direction in the map. Like, I think there's a guy that way, right? Like, there's so much thought process that go. It's not just like, oh, I see people moving, shoot them, because I could beat people. Now, I don't personally believe I have the best accuracy. Now, I may have better accuracy than some. And when I say accuracy, I mean locking onto a moving target and shooting them. But I definitely don't have the best. So my way that I win is like Leon said earlier. I try to outmaneuver. I try to outthink people. I don't play by the like. There's a thing that you do. Oh, and that was another thing that like kind of pulled me out of competitive. Right. I feel like at least on the low level of competitive, there's this mindset of like, this is what you need to do. If you're not doing this, we lost the game because of that. Does that make sense? Like, why weren't you running this weapon? Why weren't you doing this thing? So that's what kind of pulled me out of competitive, but I'm always intrigued to see that person who like reminds me of myself a little bit, right? Like the team that maybe they don't have the best accuracy, but the plays that they pull out of their pocket, like the things that they do, you just aren't expecting. that's what interests me. And I know when we talk about competitive Call of Duty, that's on a different playing field. And what I mean is, you're not allowed to use everything that's in the game when you're doing competitive, right? So like maybe Riot Shield, which is a big shield that protects you from bullets in one direction, and a few other things. That may not be allowed, but like in my head, I just imagine one of these competitive teams, like half of them running Riot Shields and the other ones like behind them, and like just like odd strategies that would work. Like that's what truly interests me. And if some of these teams can pull that out, then they'll have me hooked.
Yeah. And I think that we're going to see some incredible gameplay, especially this year. Uh, I didn't watch any competitive Call of Duty for the past 2 years, and I think that just happened because of adult life. But I can still remember fairly well how it felt to experience a good play, and most of those good plays were made by like experienced teams that have been playing together, and when they're in the map, they move together, and you can see this move. I mean, I think that we're going to see a lot of that this year because a lot of the teams that are in this league were basically formed from previous squads that have been playing together for a while, or like duos, like two players that have been playing for a while, and their chemistry is incredible, and it's so much fun watching them play. I'm just excited to see all this play out. And there's not a lot of information online because the league is not to start until like January. But so far, everything that I'm seeing looks incredible. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, with that being said, I guess at this point it's just more of we'll have to wait and see. And I'm sure if any other news comes out, we'll have to cover that as well. And just let's take a step away from competitive. What do you think of the new game?
Of Modern Warfare.
Yeah, the reboot, right? So like the like we were saying a while ago, so 12 years of games, right? So they did Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Sorry, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That was the game that got everyone hooked, right? But it's been
Yes.
so long that the Activision, the publisher, the people who put out the game. Now you have to understand there's multiple companies who release this game. It's a yearly game put out by different companies each year. Um the best equivalent I would have, I guess, in my head is like Black Mirror. Have you seen Black Mirror?
The show.
The show, yeah. If you haven't, then you're in trouble.
I have not
Okay.
all the seasons, but I've
Okay.
seen some.
But every episode is put out like there's different authors of every episode. Or Doctor Who, same thing with them. Every episode is a different writer sometimes. Sometimes people redo them, things like that. Same thing with Call of Duty. So there's Modern Warfare series, there's the Black Ops series, um, there's Advanced Warfare and a few one-off things. But so
Ghosts.
Ghosts, yeah. But the point is, it's been going on for so long that they've gone ahead and decided they want to take a step back and reboot the Modern Warfare series. So that's what this year's game is, right? So I know you're enjoying it, but what are your thoughts on it? Like, elaborate.
Well, okay. Oh, man, there's a lot of different opinions. I can't just summarize it on one thing, right? So let's just break it down.
Okay.
Maps. Let's talk about maps.
Maps. That's a hard one.
Man,
I,
I'm speechless
I'm
only
gonna
because
I'm gonna
there's
say
a
they're
lot of
bad.
maps that suck.
Yeah, no, the game is good. The maps are bad, and a lot of people are saying that, right? And with Infinity Ward, which is the company that has produced this title, Activision publishes, Infinity Ward produces the Modern Warfare series. Infinity Ward has been saying that it's supposed to be realistic, right? So like what everyone in Call of Duty is used to is the 3-lane map, right? You have a middle way, you have a left way, and you have a right way. Modern Warfare is more like, hey, this is like what a real place would be set up like. You're not gonna have these lane structures. You're gonna have buildings all over the place because that's what real life is like, right? So that was their thought process. It's like they're going for realism this year, right? So 3-lane structures on every single map isn't realistic, right? And that's where they're coming from. And I want to say that because that's what they're saying. So when I say they're bad maps, I'm saying they're bad. Well, what? Let me let you talk. I guess. What is your reasoning for them being a bad map per se? Because I feel like there's good maps too, right? So like, what?
Well, okay. So, what what are they talking about when it comes to like realism? That's what I don't get because for a lot of the maps, it still feels like there are 3 lanes, but now one side of the map can control the other side very easily because
Yeah,
of all the nooks and crannies and and head glitches and now there's peaking or what's that called? Mounting?
mounting. Okay, well, also okay. So let's break it down.
Okay, yeah, first, yeah, so
Head
maps.
glitching. Head
Yeah.
glitching. What? Explain.
Oh, you don't know what head glitch? Okay, right,
Well, I do, but maybe someone
right.
listening doesn't.
Yes. Sorry, I apologize. Head glitching is essentially when
So it is a
you
perspective thing, right?
yeah,
So
it's a
when
perspective. You see this, yeah, when you're the person suffering from someone using a head glitch, basically what's happening is that somebody shot at you and all you were able to see is the very tip of their head. So it's very hard to shoot back. And meanwhile, when you look at the kill cam, their entire gun, everything is just, they're able to
right,
shoot at you.
right, and so the reasoning behind it is when you're playing a shooter, a first-person shooter in particular, when you aim from your gun, in Call of Duty, the bullets are coming from where your eyes are looking, right? And the reason they do that is because it feels good as the person shooting. Because if I walk up to a half a wall and I aim down my sights and I start shooting and I can see the guy's full body, but my bullets aren't going anywhere because they're hitting the wall beneath me, that's going to be very jarring for the person shooting, right? So what happens is it's known as a head glitch, like he was saying. Since I can see the me as the person shooting at, let's say, Leon, if I'm behind a wall and only my head is looking out, I can shoot him because again the bullets are coming from where my eyes are, but all he sees is my eyes. So you're looking at a very, very, very small target versus a very large target. So
Yeah.
it seems unfair, and that's where the name comes from. A head glitch because you it's just very unfair. It feels like it's just a glitch in the game, but it's not. It's perspective.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of perspective, though, there's have you seen the videos exclusive Ace, I believe, or Prestigious Key? I watched a lot of YouTube, one of the two. They released a video basically explaining there's another perspective issue in this game, and what happens is when you're close to a wall, like a corner of a building, right? If I'm coming around that corner, my whole body will be sticking out. If you're far away from that wall, you'll see me coming out before I can even see you because of perspective. So like people are getting sniped coming around corner before they can even get a chance to see the enemy. Have you
Oh,
seen that?
no.
Yeah.
So this happens if I'm like hugging a wall
If you're
and I'm
hugging a wall and you rotate around a corner, you're left. Or let's say you're heading left around a corner, right? You're banking right around a corner, right?
hmm
Um, and from the other person's perspective, the left side of your body is going to be sticking out before you can even look around that corner. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And because of your perspective, you can't even see anything yet. You just see a wall. So by the time you come around that corner, this guy's already aiming at you and getting ready to shoot, and you just realize he's there and you're dead.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, now supposedly this hasn't. I've never noticed this issue before, and honestly, in the game, I barely noticed it myself. But if you watch the video clip that's going surfacing around, it's pretty gnarly. Like you gotta look it up. It's sorry, all over the place, but yeah, perspective, head glitching. Um, I threw you off a little off topic, but where were you going with that?
With what I was trying to get at is that with they're trying to do realistic maps,
Right.
but I've noticed that most of the maps still has somewhat of a three-lane structure in it, but now there's more of a above ground. There's a lot of
Like a
second
lot of
stories, a lot of windows, a
yeah.
lot of a lot of places where people can head glitch,
Hmm.
and a lot of these maps. So they have this issue, and some of these maps are too big. So I mean, what I've experienced as a new player, because I haven't played Call of Duty that much for the past 2 years, and I mean, I've been trying to play this game a lot,
Hmm.
is that like I get frustrated when I get killed, and then I run back towards where the action is happening, which you have to run for a little bit to get to somewhere where you can, try to find a kill, and then I get killed by somebody that's just waiting for me, that's just aiming down, like from a head glitch from a window, and I've noticed this happening in a lot of the maps. Basically, the maps in this game are not the greatest. The gameplay is incredible.
Right. You're right. Like so, it looks good. It feels good, but just
Yeah.
the so. Before I forget that to add on something that Infinity War was saying is that they feel like Call of Duty has gone in one direction, and that direction is run and gun. And with the release of this game, they did mention that they wanted to enable other styles of gameplay. Now, to just simplify that, they wanted to enable camping. They wanted new players to be able to set up in a house and get a few kills. I
Hmm.
don't know how much they thought about people who are actually decent at the game doing the same thing and taking advantage of it. But yeah, it's been a very slow paced game, and I think the maps play towards that. A lot of running to die right away sometimes, or like so. Sorry, I need to clarify. Camping is what it sounds like. You kind of just sit up in one spot. You don't move too much. You cover all your exits, which might sound fun to someone who's new at the game because hey, people are gonna come at me and I'm gonna kill them. Right? I'm gonna get points.
Right.
But you're not really experiencing the whole map, and that's the general concept. Like people are like, you're not really doing anything. You're just what you're doing is being the counter to what I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do is experience the whole map, run around, get a bunch of kills. But when I come across your building that you've gone ahead and set up Claymore, which is like a trip mine, um, and just you're covering all the windows and you're just sitting in a corner hiding behind some garbage or some chairs or whatever. And it's
Classic.
just yeah, no, like that's camping, and it becomes frustrating for someone who wants to actually run around and experience the whole map, because you have to slow down yourself, and it just slows the whole game down.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh yeah,
Now, if we move on to graphics, gameplay, how smooth the game feels. I love all the weapons. I love how customizable they are. Um,
phenomenal. Like
yeah.
you can do like it's a game, right? So people find ways to have fun. So me and Leon were playing, and I think you had to step away for a second. I never sent you the screenshot. I'll send it to you now. But you can so you have these gestures and you can spray paint things in the game just because. Well, you can spray paint your teammates and literally paint your teammate a different color if you feel the need to do so. And I just had a fun old time not playing the game the way you should play it and just spray painting my teammate and watching Leon come back to the game, unbeknownst to him, that he is now a bright neon green running around the map, and everyone just sees him right away, and he just falls to the ground. Just good times.
Yeah, you never did send me that, so I never
I'm gonna
really
send it to you
understood.
because it was worth it. I don't know how do you feel about the Call of Duty talk? You feel like we we put an hour in a Call of Duty talk. Is there? I mean, we can always chop this up a little bit. We can do more than one episode right now. Just keep talking, break it up into a few different things. How you feeling?
Well, there's just so much to talk about Call of Duty. I mean,
I know, but
especially,
just to clarify for anyone who is still paying attention, if you are listening, I don't expect these to
of
all be
course they
about Call of
are.
Duty. Of course they are. I don't expect all these to be about Call of Duty. I want to talk about other things for sure, mostly gaming related tech related, just whatever interests me at the time.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think I personally think that yes, we are gonna be gaming related, but I'm just gonna let you know, Pat, that we can talk about anything. And I think anything and everything is fair game as far as when it comes to this podcast. I
I,
don't know.
I can agree up until a certain point. I think personally, I want to stay away from politics. That's just my
Okay,
personal opinion.
but like, what can we talk about the universe and like how we're just this little tiny rock,
If
right?
you want to talk about that, I'm down to talk about that.
Okay, good. All right. So we're okay with that. All right. Yeah. No, me neither. I mean, I just, politics are toxic.
Yeah.
Ideas are helpful. Anyway,
Did you get the screenshot?
on Xbox, yeah.
You look like the Hawk, is what you look like. I'll put the screenshot up on screen for everyone else.
Can I- Jesus, that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah. All right.
That's
I,
so funny.
let's talk about some other stuff. And I wanted to talk about streaming services and maybe
Okay.
a little bit about subscriptions. Let me ask you: are you personally subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, anything like that? Maybe Spotify or a music streaming service.
Let's just say that I have access to
So what you're
a
saying is you
couple.
share an account.
Let's just say that I have access to
Okay.
certain services, and yeah.
Okay. No, no,
But
no. But like that, even look, Netflix and those people share, right? You're allowed to stream up to like 6 devices. Who the hell is looking at 6 devices at one time? No one. Like these companies know people share accounts. My thing is so that I mean that's one thing, right? Like sharing accounts. It's strange how that's common. Let me just give my opinion on the whole streaming takeover.
hmm
I am damn glad it's happening. When I'm off on
okay,
my
but
own,
like, are
I
you
do not.
talking about
I'm talking
like,
in reference to replacing cable because cable is Stone Age, in my opinion.
okay,
It's like $70 for a cable package, and they try to get you too because they know no one needs cable anymore. But they're gonna throw in these packages, and they're gonna say for $10 more you get the internet with it. Otherwise, for the internet by itself, you're gonna be paying like $50. And it's like, well, when you put it that way, I'll get the cable. Look, save yourself a month. No one needs cable anymore. Everything is online. There's YouTube TV, there's Sling TV. If you need a streaming TV service, use those. But I guess what brought this up in my head, have you heard of Disney Plus?
all over the news?
All over the news. Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna check it out? Are you gonna borrow someone's account? What are your how do you feel about this?
Well, give me a reason to get Disney Plus. What kind of shows do they have that are special?
Well,
What's
all of the Marvel stuff, right? They bought Marvel. So that's probably gonna be a big pull for a lot of people. Because Netflix is gonna lose all their Marvel
hmm,
stuff. They're running their contracts out, and I'm pretty sure Disney is not gonna renew that stuff.
okay. So they have Marvel. What else?
I mean, maybe not for us, but they have all the Disney like princess movies. They have all the Disney shows from our childhood. I mean, I'm not saying I'm getting it. I have a friend who just got it or says they're gonna get it, but like, I'm intrigued too. Like, what's
I
gonna
just
make me
don't know.
actually get net? Like, I have Netflix, right? And I have Amazon Prime. So right there alone, I have a huge library of content. I personally don't think I need Disney Plus.
What
You
was
know,
that?
I was saying like I have Netflix and I have Amazon Prime, which gives me Amazon Video or whatever it is. So I personally don't think I need Disney Plus.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
I mean,
the
like, if you're trying to watch a Marvel movie, rent it out for 250. You can rent 4 of those a month, and there's your Disney Plus membership.
That's true, but now what if Disney Plus releases those movies the same time they are released in theaters.
Oof. I don't know if they do that, man. I don't know. That's
Or
smart.
or like a week later. Like, okay, the first week is theaters, and then week 2 is Disney Plus, and then 3 months down the road, everyone else gets it. You
Yeah.
know, the biggest downside I see to these streaming services is that there's too many of them. It's gonna like
Yeah. No. I mean, I agree. Only a couple of. It's gonna get to a point
it's gonna
where
implode.
it's gonna be inconvenient.
Right. When I start paying just as much as I would for cable for just having streaming services, that's when I'm gonna be like, no. Like,
Maybe I don't need this. Maybe I
yeah.
don't need that.
Let,
You know?
let me let me cut Hulu. Let me cut Amazon. Well, that's the thing. See, Amazon's got you though, because I don't need an Amazon Video subscription, but you're damn sure I have it because I need my Amazon Prime. I want that 2-day shipping, so it's included with everything else.
That's crazy. You're crazy, bro.
It's what it's like $50 a year or something like that. That may seem like a lot, but getting 2-day shipping, dude, go ahead, go to any website and go order something that's not from Amazon. They're gonna charge you like $6 to have shipping within like a week. It's like
Okay.
it adds up very quickly.
Yeah, it does. It does add up. It's just, I guess, paying the 50 up front
Yeah, that
is what's scary.
if they could do monthly, it'd be better. But they've got their system and it works.
So,
On the note of stream, oh, so go ahead because this is gonna be kind of a segue. So
right, right. Well, honestly, streaming doesn't affect me that much right now because I don't really pay
pay
for
for it.
any subscriptions because I don't have the money. Like, I can't afford paying for subscriptions. I'd much rather pay for a good phone plan and a good phone.
Yeah,
And if I'm gonna pay for any subscription, it would be Xbox Live. And that's just because I'm a cheap ass. Yeah.
yeah, you are
I
cheap
have
ass. No,
I
I'm just
have
kidding.
I have YouTube. I got my podcasts, and that's it. And then I'm trying to be more creative. I'm trying to write more. I'm just trying to read
Yeah.
more. Yeah,
So
yeah. But on a
uh,
segue,
yeah, so just segueing away from the video streaming, how much do you know about Google Stadia? Because this is a different type of streaming.
so I've only been learning about it for the past couple of days. And you know, quite frankly, it's crazy, and I'm almost skeptical. Um, because I've struggled to have access to high quality gaming throughout my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you need a powerful PC. Oh, you need a PlayStation now. Oh, you need an Xbox. And you're telling
Oh,
me that,
dude, look at the original the fat Xbox versus the X. Like, there's comparison videos online, like, or loading times, or SSD versus solids. Well, same thing, but SSD versus disk drives, and like so. Let me lay it out there for everyone. Google Stadia is a streaming service for video games. So you won't have any physical. How we talked about earlier, where I said I like to download all my games. Well, then you have to worry about getting the game downloaded. Then you can play it. So you have to wait that. If it's like a 50 gig game, you got to wait those 2 hours, 3 hours, right? So this is click play. It works. The best way to describe it, in my opinion, they say it's not Netflix, right? Because on Netflix, you pay for a subscription and everything's free. Now, there will be a subscription option with Google Stadia, but there will also be a free option. Um, and I can get into the differences between the two. Um,
please, what's the
but
what's the difference between the premium and the
okay,
free?
so the premium, the only differences are the premium will give you about a free game or two a month. They haven't really gone into details, but you're going to be getting free games to add to your collection, as long as you keep paying for the service to play. And again, you don't download these games; they're just added to your library. You click play, they work. Imagine, uh, you remember? Do you remember Mini Clips, the website?
I mean, I'm sure it's still a website, dude. It's gotta
I'm
be.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Let me see here. Mini
Of
Clips.
course.
I feel like they haven't even changed their logo in all these years. Commando 2. Okay, sorry. I get so off topic. Sorry. Remember okay, mini clips, the games, flash games. The games or the Disney games like the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody games or like the Kiss Next Door games, the Cartoon Network game. Like you click play, it loads for like 2 seconds and you're in a game. Imagine that but without the loading. Like it's literally you're on a website, you click play, the full game is there. Uh, you have the best quality game. The you click it and you play. So the 4K is the paid version, 1080p is the free version, and you get access to a on-demand service. So you buy a game and it becomes available to play. And then if you're paying the monthly fee, then you can play these games that they give you as well, or you can buy games in addition. So unless there's a free to play game, at some point you'll be buying something.
Huh. See, that to me is okay. So just I'm doing a speed test, right?
Okay.
Because according to Google's website on Stadia, for the best performance to play in 4K at 60 frames per second with 5.1 surround sound, you need around 35 megabits per second.
Right.
And my internet, I have 239 megabits per second. And I'm just thinking, like, I mean, do I have really good internet? Or does Google Stadia perform so well that it requires that little internet connection?
Oh, dude, they've
That
been
to me,
working on compression and everything. So I just did the test myself. Based on your current download speed of 403 megabytes, we expect that you have a high performance gaming experience on Stadia. So they seem to think I have more than I need. So okay, so to go back, so the reason we're checking our internet speeds again because we're streaming games in this new system. So the only limitation you're gonna have is your internet speed. Now, even if you live, even if you can't get good internet on your house, since it's a streaming service, you'll be able to play these games on your phone, on your TV, on your computer, on your netbook, on that tablet you put away 3 years ago.
but
You
like, how does it work? How is this possible?
well, you run into one problem, and it's the problem that a lot of the hardcore gamers are saying. Now, with Call of Duty, it's a first person shooter. Those are the one of the most intensive types of games where every millisecond counts. If you don't whoever sees that person first has a huge advantage.
Okay.
So the biggest issue is that if you have any kind of delay while streaming, so if a game is local, and what I mean is if you downloaded the game or you have a disc, when you click the button A to jump, you will jump right away. When you are streaming a game and you click the button A to jump, your controller needs to talk to your game system. Then the game system has to talk to the server, and the server has to say, okay, the player needs to jump. All of those little loops that has to jump through are going to take time. And time is something that's not really an option when it comes to gaming. So that's something they've been working really hard on. And that's one of the biggest, like, are we there yet questions. Like, people are like, is this going to really work or is this just hype? And honestly, time is the only thing that will tell us. But I have faith in it. Like, okay, so I actually already have access to the service, not Google
Yeah.
Stadia, but game streaming is the next big thing by far.
Yeah.
And
So
every company is getting
what's the
into it.
lag? What's the lag like?
We're talking milliseconds, like less than like Okay. So the games will be running at I believe 120 hertz, and what that means is 120 things will happen per second. I might be saying part of this wrong, but I'm accurate enough for this to make sense and me not to be too wrong. But with things happening 120 seconds, even if things are a few seconds behind, the game will be able to catch up before you even notice anything. Your brain can only process so much at a time. I have no expectation that this will not work for anything outside of shooters and maybe if you're competitive fighters. Like if you're playing City Skylines, one of those Typhoon games. Let me just go through the list here. Minecraft. What else do we have here? Platformers. All of these games, you will not have one issue playing while streaming because the input delay is going to be so little, and you're not really playing against anyone for it to matter. Um, so single player games are going to take off when game streaming first.
Yeah.
But so
I mean, you know what it's gonna be like? It's basically gonna be like you jumping in on Netflix and
yeah,
watching a show for 8 hours. No, you just jump on Stadia and play a game because you can play any game. That's just incredible.
yeah.
And
But again, remember you do have to pay for these games. Now, what I think is going to
like
pull a
sixty
lot of
dollars each.
it depends. It's whatever the publisher of the game decides, right? So I imagine a game like Activision or Rockstar. If Rockstar was to release Grand Theft Auto on Stadia, I'm sure they will charge you the $60. Now the question becomes, what happens when a game like Fortnite comes to Stadia? Right? Think about that. Fortnite has a huge following. It makes the microtransactions make them a lot of money. It's a free to play game, and if you can get that on Stadia or Project xCloud, which is Microsoft's project for Xbox, they're pushing everything into cloud gaming. PlayStation Now was a service that is still currently available and already is available, but only works on older games. Um, and Sony's also working on updating their cloud gaming as well. There's just so many companies that are going to get into cloud gaming. If you can get a game like Fortnite into cloud gaming, and little Timmy from down the street that has a smartphone and a controller can play actual Fortnite, which is already possible on a mobile phone, but like with really good graphics on a controller, then I think that's going to be what take. I think free to play games as well as single player games are going to be the two things that really pulls streaming to the forefront. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I've already pre-ordered Stadia. It's not a
So
game
on,
console.
yeah,
It's a streaming service. So what I'll get in my founders pack is a Chromecast, which is just a little streaming stick. Has no storage in it. Very low storage. Like I'm talking megabytes or less. No, it's just a Wi-Fi stick, really. You plug it into a HDMI port and you can stream stuff. And a controller.
and that's what you paid $129 for.
I paid $129 for that, which will and it will also give me 3 months of access to the service before anyone else can use it. Because the game, Google Stadia doesn't officially release until I believe February or something like that, or January. But founders get it in a couple weeks here. I'll have it. I can actually check my order. It tells me it will be delivered like on the 22nd or something like that.
That controller looks so nice.
Yeah, I mean, personally, my favorite controller is the Xbox One controller. I have the Elite controller here. It's got buttons on the back. I can do whatever I want with it. I'm excited for the Xbox One V2 controller, but personally, I wish it had. Or maybe they can enable it with updates. I wish you could connect it directly to a router. Now, the controller that's going to come with my game system, instead of connecting to the Chromecast or quote unquote game system that I'm currently playing on, it will actually connect directly to the Wi Fi. So remember earlier when I was talking about the controller communicating a button press to the game system or whatever, and then that processing it up to the server, and then the server processing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Their controller is going to cut one of it's going to cut part of that out, so it will reduce latency. Instead of it connecting to the console or slash Chrome stick or whatever you want to call it, it's going to connect directly to the internet and directly to the server.
I see.
So
And then
that will reduce lag.
I when we talk, anytime I think about this stuff, I'm just amazed at how quick it all happened.
It hasn't happened yet, right? But it will happen. I promise you that. There's too much money into it at this point for it not to happen. It's the next VR, right? VR had to happen. There had to be a new way to play your game that was more immersive. This is the opposite end. There has to be a new way for you to play your game without you having to go out there and download it or go out there and buy. We were just talking about this, right? We didn't get Xboxes because there was a monthly subscription fee. Well, imagine if you didn't have to buy the game system and all you had was that monthly subscription fee or no fee at all. If you say, hey, all I want to do is pay for a game and play it, the
Yeah.
only option out there as of right now would be Stadia when it's released. I don't need anything but one device. That one device could be a computer, a Chromebook, a laptop, a phone, a TV with a Chromecast, any of those things. And
And a controller.
and a controller. Or mouse and keyboard for all that matters. You can play with mouse and keyboard. They're allowed. You can play with other controllers. Their controller is set up to reduce latency and give you some other little features. But if I want to use my Xbox controller on my computer and play Stadia, I can do that.
I, you know, do you think eventually first-person shooters will be equally as good on Stadia than on console? Like, can we actually ever reach that point where the latency is?
No, I don't think they will ever be equal, but I think there will become a point where it's negligible to the point where it just doesn't matter. Um, and I don't think we're that far off, right? Okay, so I mentioned earlier that I already have access to a streaming service. Um, it's the preview for Microsoft's service. It's on my phone right now. It's called Streaming. It's literally just called Streaming. And when I launch it, it's called Game Streaming Preview. It logs me into my Xbox account, and I have 4 games here. I have Sea of Thieves, which is like a third-person pirate simulator cartoonish game. So okay, latency is not going to be a huge issue in that game, right? You're just it's more of a casual game. Definitely some intense combat, but like when we're talking microseconds of latency, not a big deal, right? Killer Instinct, which is a fighting game, and if you're in competitive fighting, you may notice some latency, but if you're just a casual fighter like me, I barely play fighting games. They barely interest me.
Same.
I played it on here. I, I wouldn't know the difference. You know?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Now what gets me are the
Fighting
next
games are weird. Just throwing it out there.
I agree.
First-person shooters are much better.
First person shooters aren't the only game style I like, but fighters are definitely one I don't like. Oh, Soul Calibur though. Good game. Alright, so coming back around, there's 4 games on this list that I'm allowed to play on the streaming service currently. This is the beta test so that I can try stuff out, give them feedback, like such stuff, right? These other 2 games are what got me. I can play Halo 5 Guardians and Gears 5 on the streaming service. Those are both shooters, and I don't know how they work. Like I haven't tried them yet. I should. I'm gonna try them and get back to you guys next time. But they kind of scare me because I understand the concept behind everything, right? I know that shooters are going to be the hardest test, but it intrigues me very much that they are on the beta test. Like, hey, here's our hardest scenario. Go give it a shot. The fact that they have that much faith in the system already tells me it's going somewhere. You know?
It's going to be huge. I mean, technically, Google Stadia um, saw the opportunity in gaming and decided to undercut Microsoft and Sony
Oh, for sure. Sony
because
is
all the consoles
partnering.
they sold.
Did you know Sony is partnering with Xbox for the streaming services?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I did.
that's how you know they caught them off guard. Sony was like, "Wait,
And
what? We can't be left behind."
yeah, and you know, it's very lucky that Microsoft had the infrastructure to, immediately respond to Google's progress in gaming streaming
Yeah.
because Google just came out of nowhere.
Well, Google has money, right? Google can do whatever they feel like.
Tons of it.
So, I
I
mean,
mean, Google Glasses, um,
let's not
Google
forget.
Plus.
Yeah, let's not forget Google Plus. Did you know there's a whole website dedicated to Google applications that have died? Apparently, there's a lot of them, and
Oh,
so
word.
that's another concern that people have, right? So the people who like having disc copies of their games and stuff, they're like, hey, okay, if I play, sorry, I just want to make sure, if I play this game and the servers get shut down, I'll still have this game to play. I have the disc right here. But if I buy a game on Google Stadia and their servers shut down, what happens to the game I paid for? That's a big concern people have.
Yeah.
And I can understand it, right? But Google's a smart company. They're not going to piss off a huge consumer base. That would not be good business, right? I don't care how many years down the road it is. 30 years down the road, no one's playing Stadia, but like 500 people, and they're like, sorry, we have to shut down the servers, your games are gone. Those 500 people will speak up, and it will be bad PR. They're not going to do. Servers are expensive as the space they take up, and they're only getting better and better, which means a server to run older games becomes cheaper and cheaper, right? So the cost of running the
Thank God.
servers, yeah, the cost of running the games that you currently purchase today will become cheaper and cheaper for Google as time goes on. So it's not like I don't foresee them shutting down the servers. Even if their Google Stadia business fails, they will still allow you to play the games you purchase in my mind, right? There would be no reason for them not to be able to let you do that. That's like a non-issue for me personally.
Or they give you a digital copy.
Yeah, or they're like, hey, our servers are shutting down. You can from now on out, you can download a copy of the game. Simple as that. All right, how you feeling? Did
I'm
you
eating
have?
ice cream.
I'm pretty tired. So that being said, if you enjoyed this at all, let us know in the comments. We're gonna be talking about other stuff more than just Call of Duty. We will talk about tech and like everything, anything that comes to mind.
I mean, at the end of the
The
day,
space and
I
rocks,
mean,
apparently, if
at
you
the end
ask
of the
Leon.
day, this is just, two guys that met each other over 10 years ago that somehow stick together just through gaming and Call of Duty and developed a passion. Or through their passion, gaming, they stuck together. And here we are just trying to start a podcast talking about anything and everything that interests us. And hopefully the topics that we talk about entertain. And, we just want to stir up a conversation and have a great time. And we hope that you are too.
Yep, he said it best. Have a good night. Peace.
That was fun.